tap loudly, slowly, clearly, engaging the audience.
Okay, so we are from Dark Path Productions, and we are pitching this new film called Sunday's Child. It's a thriller genre, and here's the font we've used for the film. It's kind of got like a gravestone with a blood splattered seal to it.
Pieces of 8.
Yeah, it's called Pieces of 8. Do you want to go to the next one?
Yeah.
No, that's correct. Right, yeah. Go on, Liz.
Okay, so straight away we can see that this relates to the genre of thriller because it's of a dark nature. Dark Path Productions, you're immediately going to expect that the narrative structure is going to be unforeseen and unsuspecting journey. So it doesn't follow a typical narrative structure. So the protagonist's journey is unforeseen. Okay, it uses alliteration, similar sounding vowels, which makes the name more memorable, so it sticks in the audience's mind. So it will stay with them, like word of mouth. It's progress of advertisement. It's also, as you can see from here, it's of an eroded and a corrupt use of font, which supports the genre. Like it's got a coarse which suggests violence and danger. Okay, as low lighting gives the production company a sinister aura straight away, and the use of the light source of the lamp suggests that there's just that glimpse of hope for the protagonist. This also is supported by the shooting star in the background, which is commonly linked to making wishes. So it will take a wish for the main protagonist to have a chance in this film, linking to the genre of horror. It's also, we also see here that there's an over-exaggerated mood, which suggests themes of the supernatural, which is like a common feature and theme in the horror and thriller genres. So it gives it a sense of escapism almost. And Dark Path, the image itself, the company name, it's a sense of surprise when the audience aren't expecting. And the animated star, you can't see it on the presentation, but the shooting star here, it shoots across the screen. So it's showing off our ice ski skills really, and it shows that our institution is recognising modern technological advances.
Okay, so as we said before, this is the name of our film. It's called Sunday's Child. The reason we chose this for our film name is because we've got the idea from a well-known children's poem. The children's poem is called Monday's Child, and it provides a direct link to the film as the victims of the film are children. So instead of calling it Monday's Child, which is the poem, we've called it Sunday's Child, which is a key point in the film. You'll find that out later on when you watch it. The chosen poem of Sunday links to the religious themes in the film's plot, as Sunday is primarily linked to church, obviously. It's linked to God, prayers. Also, Sunday is traditionally renowned as a day of rest, peace and harmony, which again, it adds irony to the film's plot. The way we decided to edit the title of the film, we decided to do it in a kind of gravestone sort of feel. So churches, when they have graveyards, we decided to do it in that sort of style. And by putting like blood splatters upon it, it suggests that there'll be violence and killing in the film. You'll find out that when you watch it. Next one.
This is the film synopsis that we wrote and chosen for our film Sunday's Child. We're there for now. Waltonbury, a small and secluded rural village on the outskirts of Hertfordshire, had always been recognised for its close-knit community where everybody knew everyone and secrets were unheard of. That is until the first child went missing. She's young, she's beautiful, her corpse laid bare in the bypass betrays no secret. That is except for strange numbers seared onto the inside of her cold lifeless limbs. The first body was a warning. When Molly, a teenage girl living in the village, discovers that her sister goes missing, terror spreads through the isolated town. Molly begins to fear that a brutal serial killer is stalking the village streets, a shadowy madman without mercy or apparent motive. How could this be happening in a place so serene? The final body might be hers. With the death toll rising, Molly races to expose a deadly conspiracy and the sadistic killer at its heart, and every move she makes could be her last. This film synopsis will be featured on the film's website, which will tie with our preliminary task, and it could also be featured in reviews for the film, in magazines, things like that, which will review the film, and it might be featured on the back of the DVD if it was released.
Okay, next is certification. We predicted ours to be 15. If our choice to give it is the BBC's British Board of Classification, and we expect that our film will be featuring violence and gore, which is the horror teaser trailer and film. And as our target audience ranges from 15 to 25, this classification is ideal, as this is the age category that we find regularly attends films, these genres for like social aspects.
Can I just ask a question? Did you find that limiting at all, the 15 certificate? How is it limited what you can put into the film? If it was an 18, what else could you put in? How has it limited you a little bit?
I suppose, like anything, it limits what you can include and exclude, I suppose. But with 18, like our target audience, we range from 15 to 25, and that's who we handed our questionnaire up to.
Yeah.
So we feel 15 will best suit the audience which we want to target, and 18, we ourselves don't feel, because we can't, like, we haven't seen enough 18s, we're not familiar with them as we are 15s, so we are comfortable in this type of area.
Look at me, just out of curiosity, what can you put, this sounds like I'm really naive now, what can you put into an 18 that you can't put into a 15?
It's more, when it comes to, it's a lot harsher. So say, if there was a death, it would just be a quick death maybe, it would be shown for a brief second, but if it was an 18, you would see this man being tortured.
Like gratuitous.
Yeah, and it would be a lot more gory, and it would be a lot more sex orientated.
And it would be more suggestive in a 15,
Yeah.
in an 18 it's more explicit.
Yeah, and it like replicable, like acts like suicide and stuff. In a 15, it might just be very brief. But then, if it was an 18, you can see him, and you can see them do it.
Yeah, okay.
I think that also because the film covers kind of controversial themes such as child abuse and religion, we don't really want to push that too far to make it, because if we're featuring something really violent and it's to do with children, then it could be a little bit.
And it wouldn't pass the certificate either.
Yeah.
The sentences, yeah.
Okay, so this character Molly is the main protagonist of our film. She's a young girl, 17 years old. We wanted her to have a kind of typical teenage feel. So it will be kind of long, blonde hair, just standard makeup. So the sort of like typical stereotypes that a teenage girl, like the problems she might be having at home with her life at the moment. So she's falling out with her parents. In the story, they blame her for the disappearance of her sister. She's got a secret boyfriend who's from out of town. Her parents don't know about it. It's kind of like the typical stereotypes of a teenage girl. The props she'll be using will be a voice recorder that will become one of the main items she'll be using during the film. She's got a bad relationship with her younger sister, which makes it more suspicious to her parents why she doesn't really care about her sister, and that's why her parents are blaming her for her sister's disappearance. Although she knows herself, she feels bad about her missing sister. Her parents don't know this, and so she tries to uncover the mystery herself, find out why she's gone missing, and find out about stuff like that.
So we've got Molly's sister, who Jules was previously talking about, and she's going to be about 8 years old, so she's going to be a typical little infant. What we're trying to portray from her is innocence and purity. So she's the second child to go missing, and she's not shown that much throughout the trailer, because she's like, she represents the loss of Molly's, because she's like focusing it all onto Molly, and again she's got a bad relationship with her sister, like Jules mentioned, and the main prop which we're using to identify her as a character is a balloon tied around her wrist, and when she goes missing, this balloon disappears, and later in the extract you'll see the reference to it.
Okay, next is Molly's parents. Age 35 to 45, we kind of find that's the average age for our kind of parents. They're kind of stressed out due to their daughter being missing, which is kind of understandable. But later on in the plot, we kind of understand a different kind of understanding of why, which we'll get to later on.
The village priest, we don't actually know that much about him from the teaser trailer and the synopsis. It'll explain more about his role when we get onto the plot in a minute. But he's basically about 50 years